Hello there, welcome to Genessis Models. My name is Bo Waldron and welcome to this month's Q&A vlog. It's also Valentine's Day today, so happy Valentine's Day to everyone. As you can see, the missus got me a nice sort of funny t-shirt to show off in the vlog. Very nice there. So just to jump straight in with our vlog, got a whole bunch of questions here from you guys. Just a quick one just to let you know, if you want to get your questions answered, any problems you're having with your models or any questions, anything at all, personal, model related, absolutely anything, you throw any questions in there, and I'll get you selected to sort of have your questions answered in these vlogs. Remember, you can absolutely answer them anywhere. There is a specific place on the Genessis Models forum, the monthly Q&A section. You post them in there, and that's where I'll go first to sort of pick which questions are going to be in that month. But pretty much anyway, you know, you send me emails, YouTube, any sort of questions, I'll put them all together just in here, just to sort of get the questions sort of flowing. So let's start off with the first one. Sorry, for some reason I couldn't find the name for this one, but first question is nice and simple. It is in building the HMS Victories series, what is the brand name of the yellow masking tape that is used to mask off the lifeboats? Really quick, easy question. This one is, most of you probably know, but we have this stuff. This is by Tamiya. They're Tamiya masking tapes, right? You got like 6, 10, and I think it was 16, wherever my masking tape seems to have gone, the bigger one, but yeah, we'll find that out later. They are sort of expensive. Over the years, I've been trying all sorts of manufacturers when it comes to masking tape, and you know, I'll try this one, I'll try that one. In all honesty, I've been doing this for 10 years professionally, and you know, Tamiya always comes on top. As much as people try to make some knockoffs or whatever, Tamiya always does come out on top. And by the way, that big one was 18mm. Next question. We got a question here by Mark McDonald. He is asking, have you ever given any consideration to lighting a model? Yes, I have actually. It's one of those things where, you know, I want to sort of get one done. I want to get a proper video out there, a proper video build where we really sort of light things up. You know, all the instrument display panels in cockpits and navigation lights and all that cool stuff. It is on my to-do list. In fact, I did just have a company email me about them sending me a kit, and that has all sorts of lighting in there as well. So there is actually a kit on the way with a bunch of lighting, but it's not as proper sort of doing it as I'd like to do it. So you will see some lighting coming in the future, but I do want to do a proper one. Probably, I don't know, maybe sometime by the end of the year or next year, a really sort of proper one going forward with that. So hopefully that answers your question. Yes, the future, we will be looking into lighting. Then we have Andrew Parker. Quick question here. Are Tamiya kits worth paying that little extra? We did do a big video on this about kit manufacturers. You might want to go check that out. But plain and simply, yeah, Tamiya, they can be say a little bit more expensive than most sort of kits out there. I don't know if that's got something to do with coming in from, you know, Japan and stuff, sort of like, you know, importing over or something, why they'll cost a little bit more. But generally they are worth it. You know, they are generally really good kits, and they do some amazing kits. But as always, when it comes down to buying a kit, you can't just judge a book by its cover when it comes to scale modeling, because we've got all sorts of things like reboxing, and when it comes to reboxing, you don't know that if you're looking at this brand spanking new looking kit with a lovely bit of box art, looks absolutely fantastic, you buy it, you take it home, open it up, and you've got plastic in there that's from 1970. And as much as Tamiya doesn't really do that a lot, I mean, I know a lot of these old kits have been phased out, but you know, all the kit manufacturers out there can have that odd bad kit that's out there. So it's always good to always do your research and don't impulse buy. Then we have a question from Steve Chesson. He says, hello Bobby, could you do a session on dealing with vacuum foam canopies, please? I always struggle to cut them out properly and they never look quite right. Sadly, the answer to this isn't sort of that straightforward or a good answer really. Vacuum foam canopies is a cheap way of manufacturing. You kind of tend to find that the really small companies, or even some bloke in his shed down the bottom of the garden, is making this kind of stuff. You normally find that you've got probably something like a full resin kit, because resin is a cheap way of making a mold. And they normally put in vacuum foam canopies because, as I say, it's cheap. You can make a vacuum foam completely and utterly by yourself. You only need a box, an hoover, stick an hoover in the hole in the box. Then you can go off and make your own sort of canopy. Take any canopy out of any of the kits that you've got, stick it in the box, get a plastic sheet, put it on, turn the hoover on, and then you can just heat up the plastic with a hairdryer, and you can make your own plastic vacuum foam canopy. Which, you know, makes it really, really cheap, but it is also, you know, they're pants. In all honesty, you know, vacuum foam canopies are pants because, as I say, they're cheap to manufacture. You've got to sort of cut the canopy out of this plastic sheet. Then you've got to sort of sand and test fit and all these kind of things, and it's a right pain. And there isn't really any tips or tricks in how to sort of get it off and get it looking good. It is just down to your skill of cutting that canopy out nice and straight. Then you test fit, and then you just lightly sand, test fit, sand, test fit, sand, test fit, until it's fitting absolutely perfect. And really, as much as I'd like to show you, I mean, that is basically it. You've got that struggle of just cutting straight and sand, test fit, sand, test fit. Not saying that in the future I won't be doing one. I mean, there's all possibilities that I might pick up a kit that's all resin, all, you know, vacuum foam canopies, and I might do one and show you, but generally I don't like them. They're just a right pain. I don't think they're value for money. And they just take so much work when you can plain and simply just buy a nice decent kit where they've got what we all normally buy is a good old injection molded canopies. Next up we have Jeff. Jeff basically says, I've noticed that a lot of online model shops list fiberglass pencils in their tool sections. Something that's been puzzling me for a while. What are they used for? This actually got answered on the forum, so you know, sorry I'm sort of repeating this, but I want to get these questions out to everyone because it just gets it out there a bit more. Fiberglass pencils, you know what, I think I've actually got one. I might have brought one. I've just found it just here. Nicely kind of twists out and comes out. Basically it's just fiberglass. What it's plain and simply used for is sanding, right? Sanding down certain areas. When it comes to sort of modelling, I mean, we can have our wing just here, and we can be sort of sanding away with our normal sort of biggie sanding sticks. And the whole point is that you can go off and sort of get into those sort of hard to reach nooks and crannies, that kind of stuff. But it's one of these. I do find that, you know what, there's other tools that does the job pretty much the same. We've got these skinny standing sticks, which are pretty skinny, get into those hard to reach places. To get into the really hard to reach places, I mean, you've got these. I mean, they're sort of really cheap. You've sort of got to search around for them, but basically they're just a plastic stick, like a big toothpick, and they've got like just like sanding grits glued onto them, and you can sand away with them, and they do help you get out into it, get into hard to reach places and stuff. So it kind of, it's one of these, because it's fiberglass, right? You start sanding with it and the fiberglass goes up in the air. It's bad for your health. And when you've got other tools that does the job the same, it's just one of these things. I brought it and I've just never ever used it because, as I say, it's not good for your health, and there's other tools out there that you can use just the same, just as easy, just as good, if not better in some cases. Our last question now is by Mamba, and basically he wants some help building a submarine, and basically he's going to be filling it with this clear resin and stuff, and he wants this underwater look, but he's seen somewhere where you put something on the outer casing before you actually pour in the resin. And he's also wondering what it is. Basically, this answer gets answered on the forum, which is what's so good about the forum, actually, in all honesty. You ask a question on the forum, somebody's going to answer it. There's so many great chaps on there who will answer your questions, but I'm just putting it in this video to get it out there a little bit more. Basically, what you need is some sort of a silicon based lubricant, right? Because what's going to happen is you kind of build your little box, you pour in your resin, and then to actually get your box off is like really hard. The resin will sort of stick to whatever box you put around it, so you need like a silicon based lubricant to actually be able to get your box off, and then you can like see all your nice submarine all nicely in there with all that resin. Now when I've done it in the past, in honesty, I kind of go down the cheap man's route. I will use something like what was it called again? Vaseline. Vaseline was it. Nice, cheap, easy, anyone could go out to buy it, and all you basically do is just paint that Vaseline all the way around, and that will act as a sort of like a mold release agent, so to speak. The only thing is with Vaseline is you've got to be careful because it's quite thick. You do kind of need to make sure you paint it on very sort of lightly. If you kind of paint it on too thick, right, you will sort of have that imprint on the resin, which is probably why it's best to actually go out and buy actual products. I do believe they do like spray cans where you kind of spray on this on the lubricant and stuff, and it's a lot better and easier and stuff, but it costs more and you've got to go find it and stuff. But personally, I've always just gone off and used the Vaseline, but you've got to make sure you put this nice thin layer and you don't leave any brush strokes of Vaseline because you're going to imprint it on there. So hopefully that helps. Sadly, that is it for all the questions this month, but as always, get your questions in. Emails on the forum, there's a special place for it. You can ask questions on YouTube and stuff, and I'll put them all together, and next month I'll go off and answer another load of questions. So yeah, hopefully you have enjoyed this month's Q&A here at Genessis Models. So until next time, my name's Bobby Waldron, and I hope you've enjoyed.